any role in the police is hard. I went into a school today and I talked about a career in the police, and the first thing you've got to be quite clear with people is this is a really hard job, and I'm not over exaggerating to say, and I don't want to be too gruesome, but in my career, I've seen probably hundreds of dead bodies. I've been to fatal incidents. I've been first on scene at murders. I've resuscitated people who died. I've been to chaos. You run into chaos.
Good evening, welcome back to Youthology on AK Radio, brought to you by Attentive Social Enterprise every 2 Wednesdays of the month from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. I'm your host, Ruth.
And I'm Forever.
And on the show, we've got...
Hello, everyone. My name is Phil Boyd, and I'm a Community Cohesion Sergeant for Bedfordshire Police.
So our first question is, can you just introduce yourself? Very casual, although you kind of said.
I'm Phil Boyd, and so I'm a Community Cohesion Sergeant for Bedfordshire Police. And hopefully, I'm here to talk about my role, a little bit about my career, a little bit about, what inspired me to join the police and what inspires me to do what I'm doing today.
Excellent. So you said you're coming here to talk about your role. I just want to know what inspired you to get in that role in the first place. Was there like a spark or something in your younger years?
To join the police?
Yeah.
So I'm very lucky. So I've still got a mum and dad. I was born into a family with two parents and 3 older brothers. I'm the youngest of 4 brothers. Really? My mum wanted 4. My dad, I think, just wanted a girl and kept trying. Oh. So you can imagine, I think I was called Philippa for a while. I think he was a bit disappointed when I popped out a 4th boy. But nevertheless, I grew up with, in a real strong, healthy home where, although me and my brothers were a bit physical and all that sort of boyish stuff, they were very supportive of me. And basically, my oldest brother, Andy Boyd, when I was about 15, 16, he was telling me about he wanted to join the police. He's 7 years older than me. So when I was that age, he was joining Durham Constabulary after going to university. Now, you can imagine, if you're lucky enough to grow up with a role model, I had 3, 4, 5, really, my parents as well, and my brothers. I'm that younger brother. You've already got it as an older brother. You're a hero, aren't you? And so when my oldest brother said he wants to join the police, I asked him about it, why, and he started to talk to me about how, I'm a strong lad. I'm, all my brothers were all rugby players, and I'm, I'm doing all right at school. And I feel, with that mental strength I've got and the physical strength I've got, I should be helping people. And I was like, a younger brother, like, yeah, all right, yeah, helping who? And he goes, everyone. Anyone who can't, who needs help, I want to help them, and I know I can do that in the police. So already at 15 and 16, I'm thinking, I want to do it. I want to do what Andy's doing. I loved him. He's my hero. So I wanted to do what he did. I wanted to be him. I wanted to be all my brothers. And so when I came to that point where I'd finished university, I knew I wanted to keep my qualifications. I wanted to back up. So I did sort of follow my friends. I always found school hard, but I managed to get some GCSEs, and then got some A-levels, then went to university, and then that's it. And I made an application for Durham Constabulary, the same force as my brother. We didn't live in Durham, but it's a real well-performing force. Joined the police, and that was in 2003, so 22 years ago.
Wow.
I actually got in 23 years ago, but I did a very smart thing. And as I delayed my start date, I just told some kids in the school today the same thing. I went and travelled. And it's the best decision I ever made, because, when will you get that opportunity again? Once you start working. So I went for 4 months and then, joined the police. And I although it's not an easy journey, but I really haven't often looked back, and I'm really, I'm happy with the decision I made back as a 22-year-old to join.
Oh, wow.
I'm going to travel now.
Travel. See things, live. You've got to do it. You've got to do it.
So is your brother still in the force?
My brother is still in the force, and he's done a great thing. He's a community sergeant in Durham Constabulary, and he's just about to click into 30 years of his career, and he's about to retire from the police. But what he's doing in his final sort of, his last bit of big piece of work is he's bringing the Knife Angel to Newton Aycliffe in Durham County Durham. and it's a great piece of work. I'm really proud of him. And he's pushing all the the educational piece around knife crime and the impact, and he's doing loads of partnership work, and I couldn't be any prouder of him. He's a great lad.
Amazing.
Oh, bless you, Andy.
Bless Andy. We'll all bless Andy. He's a good lad.
And so, what are your key responsibilities day to day as a sergeant?
So, I've been a sergeant a long time. Some people might say too long, but I was promoted to sergeant I transferred down here from Durham in 2010, and I was a sergeant very quickly after that. So that's like 15 years as a sergeant. So day to day, depending on what role you do, is to manage a team usually. Look after everyone's welfare, motivate the troops and make sure you've got people out there helping people and they're doing it in the right way, they're professional and they're doing a good job. And that's what you do as a sergeant. You make sure they're managing their incidents that they're attending and the jobs they're attending, and they're doing a professional job and providing a service. And that's what you do on a day-to-day business. In the cohesion team, it's quite a niche role. There's not many forces have a cohesion team, and that is the team I'm in now. I've been in about for a year and a half, and the role of that team is to monitor and help manage community detentions. And the way we do that, so it's unique to Bedfordshire, but the way we do that is we have proactive relationships with a lot of our communities and community leaders and faith leaders. So when something happens, we already have relationships with people. We're not just suddenly ringing people up going, what do you think about this thing happening? Are your community upset about it? Or has it impacted you? And we've already got those relationships in place to help manage community tensions and negotiate with people and have communication. So those lines of communication are already set up. Someone once quoted me and said 90% of policing is about communication. So if we get that right, and then we get a lot of things right, because what we do know in the police is we can't do anything alone. We need to do it with with partners. We can't fix anything on our own, or we'll just keep going to the same jobs, the same people, the same incidents. So it's partnership working, really.
Yeah, I really love how you mentioned that there's like this big impact of teamwork in the police force and in the cohesion team. You can't already answer the next question, so I'll ask the one after. And it's a big question. You might have to think. What's the most memorable thing you've done in the community cohesion team?
The most memorable thing I've done in the community cohesion team, I've got lots of good memories in the police, and I've got lots of incidents I've been involved in that I'm really proud of. But one of the key ones in the cohesion team, which is only the only role I've only been in it a year and a half, was in Hate Crime Awareness Week. I was tasked by my supervisor. He says, Phil, look, we've got a strategic hate crime team in place, tactical people who are in charge of like a tactical role of hate crime. And he says we feel that people aren't reporting, and I know that as well. We feel that people aren't reporting hate to us. So what we came up with is something fun, something educational. I love working with children. I see children as I've been a father myself. I know how important it is to engage with kids, and I've made it a big part of my role to break down barriers with kids. I want to influence kids. I want them to trust us, and I want them to come to us with problems. So what I wanted to do is, for Hate Crime Awareness Week, we went into 5 schools, one of which was Beach Hill Primary. I'll use this as the main example of my best moment. Is we'd already done a competition where we wanted them to illustrate a poster that would have a QR code so people could report hate to us easier. That was like almost like a gimmick to it. But what I wanted to do is, and what we did do is, we went in those schools and we talked about what hate crime is. I went through the definition. I brought a dictionary with me to show them what the big words in that definition meant. And honestly, these kids were so bright and alert to what hate was and what good behaviour is and how people should treat each other and respect. They were amazing. I honestly feel I wouldn't have got the same reaction from a whole assembly of adults. The kids were on it. They were like obviously primary. They haven't been influenced, I think, yet by other people like social media. Haven't got phones, and they just had an honest, amazing view of the world. And they designed this poster, and then this little girl, my best moment then, was the little 9-year-old girl from Beach Hill Primary School in Bury Park doing this drawing, And we went back into the school. And look, the truth is, between us, every school won. But I did like a drum roll to like announce if their school had won or not. And then I built it up massively, and I said, Beach Hill Primary School have won the competition winners. And they all went, honestly, absolutely crazy. And then I got this little girl, and I think there was two of the winners. I can't remember which ones. They got up. We give them like framed commendations for their work. And yeah, educational, great engagement. You know, I don't mind being. You know, I've got three little kids all under 13. I know what it's like to make a fool of yourself and laugh and make kids laugh. And I flicked my hat up and said I could catch it on my head. I did it about 6 times. It was obviously smacking my head, and I just wanted to laugh because I want, you know, that if I come in and I'm a police officer and I'm really strong and firm and I'll deal with this, I can do that because when the role requires it, because policing's a dangerous game, but this is so important, this work. It doesn't like tick a box and you can't say it detected a crime or it fixed this. You can't really measure it, but I'm convinced talking to kids and engaging with them is a big part of it. And that's why going into Beach Hill Primary School in Bury Park, Luton, was my best moment of the occasion.
Oh,
That's
that's nice.
That's so touching.
That
That
is
is
so touching.
And they all shouted this. I would shout in the room, there is, and then they'd repeat it, no place, and then they'd shout each line back, for it. And then obviously we'd change the end bit for Luton or whichever area of the force we're in. But yeah, great project, and there's more to come. We'll do a similar piece in Hate Crime Awareness Week this year. And that's wonderful. It's good, and they're at that age, you know, where, you know, I barely saw a police officer growing up, which I felt was a good thing at the time. But so everyone's got like, might have a mixed view on that, but I know that age, you know, they look at you're a footballer walking in. They're really interested in you and they want to know you. And that I've never been in a role where I've been so open to sharing so much about me. You know, I'd be quite close. I don't, you know, because some people could throw it back in my face if I'm talking to suspects. And you know, so there are the truth is that, you know, it's a very dark world and it's very dangerous. And but in this role, I want people to see me as me, like a dad and someone who will mess around and have fun and then get really important themes across to them, and, you know, educational stuff, and that's just one example of how we've done it so far. But yeah, great moment.
Wow. Fun fact, guys, let me adjust the camera. We've got a fun fact for you, and the fun fact is that the nickname of a police officer is Bobby, which comes from the name of the founder of the police, Sir Robert Bobby Peel. So yeah, that was a fun
One
fact.
person founded the police.
So Robert Peel founded the current version of the police, and he had some Peel principles of how policing should be. And I think the Bobby is like a nickname for Robert, isn't it? Yeah.
That's interesting. Didn't know that.
It is. It is interesting. It's the whole foundation of the current world of policing, really. So yeah.
We heard that you went to the Royal Palace. Yeah. Can you tell us why you went there and how it was?
Well, so I mean, first of all, yeah, I was very lucky to come into work one day, and myself and one of my PCSOs got an email from the Lord Lieutenant's office, basically saying that she had nominated us to go to the to Buckingham Palace for the Royal Garden Party, and I now know there's a couple of them a year, and it was a great honour. It was in recognition of the hard work we've done in the community, the engagement, just an acknowledgement of what we do. And it was fantastic to, it's great when a cop and a senior officer goes, well done, Phil, and well done to your team, well done, officers. But when someone does it who's external, who's looked in and seen us at engagement and events and followed us on social media and sees what we do, it was probably the greatest honour of my career, and it was a free date for my wife. So yeah, man, we saw the King, the Queen. I sang the national anthem, looking at the King, and that was it. That was the moment. And the garden's amazing.
That's crazy.
Imagine.
Yeah,
you know,
so everyone's got the same face. Everyone's walking around going, I can't believe I'm here. And there's 8,000 people there, and you're just walking around going, I'm at Buckingham Palace, and it was surreal, but it was fantastic. It was one of the best days ever.
When was that actually?
It was a couple of Wednesdays ago. It was a couple of Wednesdays. Not last Wednesday, the Wednesday before. But yeah,
Very
it was good.
recent.
Very recent.
Very
I thought you were
recent.
gonna say like I don't
Years
know, like-
ago.
yeah, like 2-3 years ago.
No, it was just the palace puts them on. I think at least 2 times a year for when because the Lord Lieutenant is the King's representative in a county, and each county has one, and they have deputies, and they go to. I mean, Susan Lusada, who's our Lord Lieutenant, she goes to all these events and supports the community, and she's like the equivalent of the King being there. But I guess it's an old-fashioned thing that the King realised they couldn't, or Queen couldn't go to all these events and support communities, and it's just another. It's just how the
Way
King
of reaching out
and support. That's it, reaching out and supporting communities, and they go to loads of events, just like we do. And that's why we've seen each other a lot, really. So, I mean, really. I mean, she was there anyway as the King's representative, but she should be nominated because that's she does so much.
It's a lot of work.
Oh man, it is, and the High Sheriff do loads of work as well. So that was it. It was a great moment, and I'll never forget it.
Wow. I thought when you said you saw the Queen, I thought like it was years ago.
Yeah,
so I thought it was Queen Lizzie.
Oh, sorry, I'm talking. Yeah,
Lizzie.
the current Queen. But yeah, there was the King and his Queen, and then the walk out, and everyone rushes round. But me and my wife were trying to play it cool, and my wife just said, "Look, we'll just walk." She just really wanted to see the gardens, and I said, "Look, it's our day. It's your day as well." She's my wife. She's amazing, and she supported me for 22 years in this crazy business that I'm in, and the shifts and the tiredness and the fatigue and the trauma. It's a hard job, and so it was nice for us. It was lovely.
Oh, that's nice.
so
That is really cute.
What challenges come with being a sergeant? Because obviously it can't be all Buckingham Palace every single time.
Yeah.
And you did
No.
mention that. You did say, so thanks to Mrs. Boyd for being there for him and helping him through all the trauma. But what exactly are some of the challenges you go through as a surgeon? Because I'm so sure that's a high pressure job in itself.
Well, the truth is, any role in the police is hard. I went into a school today and I talked about a career in the police, and the first thing you've got to be quite clear with people is this is a really hard job. And I'm not over exaggerating to say, and I don't want to be too gruesome, but in my career, I've seen probably hundreds of dead bodies. I've been to fatal incidents. I've been first on scene at murders. I've resuscitated people who died. I've seen bodies' intestines coming out of them. I've tried to save a 7-year-old boy. I've seen a dead baby. I've been to chaos. You run into chaos. And I know police get a hard time, and rightly so sometimes, but those 99% of police officers that run into people's doors to help them and do an amazing job. Every single moment of every single day, a police officer somewhere in Bedfordshire right now is helping someone. But that comes with a consequence. Someone bit my hand, tried to pull the skin off in their teeth a couple of years ago. I tried to stop someone who had already sliced his neck open from killing himself. I had blood, I was covered. And my hands outside were like this. They were shaking, and I got an officer to take a picture of me. I'm covered in this guy's blood. We did stop him hurting himself, and he went to hospital and was helped. But then my wife, I look at my phone, I've got text saying, "I've got the pizza ready with the kids, where are you?" And I'm like, my hand's shaking, and someone else, the guy's fine, he's with the paramedics where he should have been, but they're the people who need to look after him. But I'm like this, and I'm used to that because that happens every time you go into a high pressure job. Your hands start shaking, your adrenaline starts going, and you're scared. Your body's telling you not to do it.
Yeah, because it wants to keep you safe.
Yeah, but that's part of policing, and that's the people I want more people to understand that coppers go to, and we can be firm, and we have to be with people because ultimately some people want to hurt other people, and we've got to stop them. And I know we don't like to talk about it, but we do have to get hold of people and stop them hurting people. And sometimes it's really difficult when we have to stop them hurting themselves. And we've got there's loads of training, and there's loads of ways of responding, and there's learning all throughout policing. In the 22 years of the way I've seen policing come on is amazing. It'll carry on like that. It will get better, but the welfare has become better as well. We've got like a dedicated welfare team now. When I started, you did have your sergeant going, "You all right, Boydie?" And I'm like, "Yeah." As a 22-year-old kid who's just seen 2 bodies on the first time I'd seen a dead body apart from my granddad, and I saw 2 on one day, and it was like, I could be in that room right now with what my first two. The rest are like a bit of a blur unless I think about them. My murder scenes that I've been to quite a few. I can open that up in my mind and see it. And that's what people don't understand. And so when you talk about, I can't say the pressures of a sergeant, it's a pressure of every single police officer you'll ever meet. And they've all been through it. You don't get to 2, 3, 4 years of service without having seen some things that most people shouldn't see in their entire life. And that's why I've got a lot of respect for frontline officers, obviously the detectives that have to stroll through, investigate till someone's remanded and put before a court. There's loads of great work goes on in Bedfordshire, and I am really proud to be a police officer, like serving the community in Bedfordshire.
Wow. How do I hear all this and then not convince my brother to be a police officer?
Well, I'll talk to him. I'll convince him to be a police. I will.
He wants to. I'm just like, I think the issue is me now, like, because how do I...
I mean...
You've got to tell him it's a hard job, but look, we'll speak to him. I'll come and have a chat with him and tell him about it. But you've got to know it's hard.
Yeah.
You've got to know it. There's night shifts. You've got to know that you're going to see some things that are horrendous. You're going to see the worst of the community as well. In my role, I see the best of it. It's all singing and dancing and smiles and thumbs up with kids. That's lovely. But my career before that was not like that. And you do see the worst, and it's hard. And you've got to make very quick decisions. So tell your brother to really think about it, because I know you can change people's lives in a matter of minutes of going in through that door and helping people.
Yeah, true.
Not everyone can say that, can they, when they talk about a career or what they've done. How do you follow that question?
Wow.
Let's throw in the fun fact.
Throw in the
fun fact.
Let's lighten the mood up a little bit.
Throw in a fun fact.
Go on.
Okay, so fun fact. You know the clouds you see up in the sky, they're not like... I don't know why, but movies, everything makes them seem like, oh, they're just a cloud. You can jump on... Yeah, apparently they weigh 500,000 kilos.
Yeah.
And yeah.
They're very heavy.
I
thought
don't
they're
know.
like cotton candy, but they're not.
Same. It never really dawned on me that it was just water. And water, when it accumulates, is heavy.
It is heavy. Yeah.
I've never really thought of that.
Well, in the movies, like someone always walks around them, don't they?
Yeah.
And you don't see Superman or Superwoman fly through that cloud and then come out covered in water, do you?
No.
No one's ever thought about that. They just fly through it and the hair looks perfect, doesn't it? But actually they should come out covered
Everything
in...
is fine.
It's like the head should be like flat down in the face, shouldn't it? Like this.
What advice would you give someone considering a career in policing, especially those interested in community work?
So I went into a school today, I'm going to forget the name of it now, in Cranfield. The reason my face is still red is because I was conscious that, at school I found it hard to listen to someone for a long time. So I said to the kids, I said, look, they're year 7 and 8, and I said, for a bit of fun, I'll talk to you about policing, but I'll also, does anyone fancy doing the bleep test? So we went outside and I fully kitted up, and for the first time ever, I did the bleep test in my full kit. So my face is still red because...
Yeah, I was about to...
Oh, do you not know? Sorry.
Yeah, can you tell us what the bleep test is?
So the bleep test is a physical test you got to do to be able to get in the police.
Oh.
So it's like 2 cones or lines 15 metres away, and there's a bleep. So when the first bleep goes, you run, and then it's really slow at the start, but then you touch the end and the bleep will go again, and you've got to keep up with the bleep, but the bleep gets faster, so you've got to run faster and faster and faster and faster, and then it gets to 5.4, which there'll be a debate about in the public about how hard that is to complete. But so some people don't think it's hard, some people get really anxious about the bleep test. It's the first thing I did when you had to do it when I joined. I still do it like twice a year or something like that now to maintain evidence that I'm fit.
You're still that fast?
So, well, yeah, but some people will say it's not that fast. But I can pass the bleep. So I thought it'd be fun for the kids to come outside and do the bleep test with a bit of engagement, running around. We've already had the talk about policing, like you said. Look, you've got to know it's a hard career. You can't go into it thinking you're going to see your mates every weekend, and because it's not 9 to 5 usually. It's very rare you get roles like that. Usually it's shift work, and my first 13 years was shift work, and that means you can't make your friends party or your wedding, and it's more difficult than knowing you have every weekend off because you don't. And then on top of that, and the craziness of some of the jobs you might experience, you've got the night shift, you've got fatigue, hard. But like I said, I guess the simple message to your viewers and listeners would be that if you want to do a job where you can help someone at almost any time of your shift and change their lives, you join the police. But if you don't want to do that, fair enough. Do other things.
Yeah.
Don't join the police. But yeah, I mean, there's other. I just say to kids, I don't say necessarily join the police. I say do something that helps people. Do something that helps people. Yes, it's good to have a good, wage. I think about that more as an older person now than I perhaps did as a younger person. But I wouldn't, if I go back to myself at 22 when I'm thinking, what should I go for? I wouldn't go back and tell that 22-year-old lad who had thick hair and was, a bit more chiseled and not as chubby. But I'd say to him, do it, join. You won't regret it. And I'm here with 22 years of service saying, yeah, it's a good job, man. And not every job is like this. And that's what's unique about it. So I'd say to everyone, try it. You can even become a special constable, to volunteer it, try it, see if you like it. Join and then give it a go, try it, but you've got to give it a good go. Don't go 6 months and this is too much for me. Give it a go, and I honestly think, especially in Bedfordshire Police, you won't regret that decision.
Oh, that's nice. Means you have a good community in Bedfordshire.
That's it, and we've got a good community, and we've got great people that we speak to. Luton, Bedford, Bedfordshire. It's a great place to work and police because the communities are fantastic. And there's some when you get into the and speak, you're not going to those just 999 jobs and seeing all this the sort of horrible side of the world. There's some great work goes on. There's some real good initiatives to try and help and educate people and ultimately protect people. It's going on in all different organisations, and if you want to help people, and hopefully most people do want to do that with their lives, there's loads of different ways to do it. Just do it. Do something that helps someone somewhere somehow. That's my message. I'm not here to go just police because it's not. I wouldn't do something. Help someone.
That's it.
Loads of ways you can do it. Help someone.
Thank you so much, Phil, for being here.
My pleasure.
So much
really
insight, very touching stories. I was very moved throughout the whole time.
I was quite glad because usually when I mention my brother's name, I like go, when you get that little But yeah, I kept it together. But yeah, thanks so much for having me. It's been a pleasure. I've really enjoyed it.
Thank you so much for coming. It was amazing to have you, honestly.
Hope to have you again.
Yeah. Thank you. I will. I'll come back. Clouds and Robert Peel, Bobby.
Yeah, and Bobby.
So Bobby.
Maybe next time we'll bring you on as Bobby.
Well, no problem.
So it was really nice having Phil, Sergeant Phil, to come talk to us about his involvement. Really inspired by the story he gave about No Place for Hate, especially with the role the children played in making the artwork, and then how he incorporated these little activities in the middle of the day just so they can get some energy out, because obviously they were quite younger year groups.
So you played a key role in helping coordinate Luton's image. What was it like, and what was Luton's image about?
Oh, it was absolutely amazing. It was so good. I think the aim of it was just to bring more light to Luton, because most times when people take actually, let me explain a little bit about Luton's image first. Luton's image was a project, and it centered around bringing more awareness to Luton as a town. Because most times when people go through Luton, they think of Luton as a connection to London. And so it kind of like downplays on how amazing we are as a people. But we used artwork from different schools and different colleges to just show what Luton looks like from the eyes of its own people, which I think was absolutely amazing. We displayed it at the airport railway station, so like the dot. And I think it's still up currently, and it's just amazing to just see like what people think of it. What as you travel, you can just see different artworks or different like landmark places in Luton. It's an amazing way to just bring that fresh insight and that fresh that new look to Luton that people might not have been like acquainted with before. So yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah. And what was your personal experience like supporting such a large collaborative effort that involved artists, educators, and community leaders?
It was actually amazing because you're my mentor, so you were there the first time, and I was so scared. I was like, Ruth, I don't want to do this. I'm really worried. I'd much rather do things that don't put me in the limelight, because if something goes wrong, it's gonna be like, oh yeah, forever, you were working, but you were one of the people who worked on that project. What happened? And it's just like initially, I wouldn't say I tried to run away from it, but it eventually just kind of found me, if you will. It was amazing dealing with the educators, dealing with the different schools, going to different schools, telling them about how big of a project this is and how important it is that Luton gets this recognition, which is absolutely amazing. Working with different creatives and liaising with the DAR to make sure that we have everything, the sizes of the imagery, which was, by the way, the imagery is absolutely amazing. The way they presented it is just on another level to what we expected, but just making sure that, you know, it doesn't, let's say the pictures don't block important signs for people who want to leave the DAR and things of that nature. It was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. So yeah.
And there's also a video on of Luton's image available online on the Attentive YouTube channel.
Yeah.
What do you hope people will take away from the video when they see it?
I just hope people would take away the fact that Luton is so much more than just a connection to London. We are so much more. We are so diverse. We are so creative. We bring something different to the table that honestly I don't think anyone else offers. So I think that if you're gonna take anything away from that video, it's just the fact that Luton is much more than just a connecting flight, and Luton means a lot to its people. Because if Luton didn't mean a lot to its people, the children in the college, children in the schools and students in the colleges in sixth form wouldn't have put that much effort into the art, but obviously they did because they know how much it means to them. So yeah, just take away the fact that Luton is much more than a connection to London, and we really love and value our unique heritage and our diverse cultures.
Exactly. So last but not least, what would you say to other young people looking to get involved in creative or community-led projects like this one?
Okay, so I feel like to some extent that kind of depends on like how, I like to say how old you are, because I'm not the only child. I've got siblings as well, and when they see me doing all these things, having all these articles and things of that nature, they're like, how do I get involved? Well, you can't, because you're not 16 years old yet. So before you're 16 years old, there's so many volunteering opportunities available. Try to make sure that you find your interests and then make sure that you are the very best at what you do. So in that field, you can always be singled out as like someone who's exceptional in that specific thing. And once you turn 16, try and look for more opportunities, because as you get older, there's more opportunities available to you. So the opportunity I took was joining Attentive, which I just want to say has been a massive blessing to my life. It's been amazing just being a part of this wonderful cohort of people that are extremely talented. So try and find an avenue to channel the things you've learned. But before that, you can't channel what you've learned if you haven't learned anything. So you have to find out what you love and just build upon it. You know, set a time and just keep going at it. And you will definitely stand out from the crowd. And yeah, applications will be a lot more easier. It'll be more easier for you to get involved in your community. And hold on, before all that, you must learn to love your community to start with. So yeah.
Yeah, that is amazing. Thank you, Forever, for
so much,
all
Maria.
of your comments. We are gonna call it the end of the episode because, yeah, that's the end of the episode. So thank you so much for watching and listening. This has been Youthology on AUK Radio every 2 Wednesdays of the month, brought to you by Attentive Social Enterprise. I have been your host, Ruth.
And I am Forever.
And our guest, Phil, no longer here.
We had a guest, guys.
He had a guest. He's gone, but he left us a present, so
yeah,
you can look at that, I guess. Yeah, thank you. Bye.